Finding the right book that correlates to each student's reading abilities can be a challenge. Here are some useful strategies to help educators and parents. These strategies assume that students are independent readers. So what makes a student an independent reader? Students are considered to be reading independently when they can read a text with 95% accuracy and can comprehend what they are reading. It is important to find out why a particular student is selecting books that are above their reading abilities. Reasons will vary based on the student's age and personal preferences, but it is an important part of the process in guiding the student to make better choices. Educators also need to be aware of the reading abilities of the student. Once there is an understanding of the student's needs and motivations, a number of strategies can be used. These strategies include creating criteria for a just right book in a format that students can access, such as a chart. It is important to teach students the 5-finger rule and to regularly consult with students to ensure that they understand the books that they are selecting and are completing those books. When creating criteria for a just right book, each educator will focus on different factors. These factors could include the grade of the class or the individual abilities of the students. I'll be discussing 2 sets of criteria developed by different educators. The first set of criteria comes from Rachel Walshire, who lists the following questions. Is this book new to you? Do you understand most of the book? Are there a few words per page that you don't recognise or instantly know the meaning to? Try the 5-finger test. When you read, are some places smooth and other places choppy? Can someone help you with the book if you hit a rough spot? The last question is interesting, as it assumes that a just right book will challenge the student and at times will require the student to ask for assistance. This assumption is supported by Morgan and Mraz, who note that students get the most benefit out of a text that has a little challenge. Another just right chart comes from Parks. Her points include: is the print size and the white space around the words perfect for you? Do you find the topic interesting? Does the book pass the 5-finger test? Is there the right amount of pictures? Do you like and understand the first sentence? Just right criteria can be used then to create a chart that students can consult when selecting books. And you'll note that Parks' list focuses more on the mechanics of reading and text, whilst Walshire's list focuses more on comprehension. Both recommend using the 5-finger test, which will be discussed below. You can see that this list can be adapted clearly depending on the needs of the students in the class. Another strategy that students can use to select appropriate books is the 5-finger test. The 5-finger test allows students to keep track of words that they find difficult to understand in a book. Students select a page to read in the book and hold up a finger each time they do not understand the words on a page. If they have 5 fingers up before the page is finished, the book is too difficult for them to understand and they should find another book. This is a practical method that's easy for students to remember when finding suitable books for independent reading. Another strategy is to consult with students regularly regarding their reading choices and to assess if students are selecting appropriate books for their reading abilities. This way, educators can track what books students are reading as well as if their students are improving in their reading. Now, Snowball recommends recording information about student reading choices, and one way of doing this is through a reading log where students actually have to write down what they are reading. In her research, Parks required her students to list the books that they had selected. They had to note if a book was too easy or difficult for them and if they had stopped reading a book before completing it. So, what can parents do? Parents are a very important part of the education process. So they can use their strategies that I've outlined above to help their students make better reading choices at home. And teachers can help parents out in this area. For instance, Parks explained her Just Right chart and the 5-finger test to parents during parent-teacher interviews. And she also sent home recommended reading lists for different levels of reading so parents could better guide their children. These practical strategies will assist students in selecting books that match their reading abilities, which will help them become better readers.